I think the most difficult job of a leader is to deliver bad news where it's going to affect people's lives, people's families' lives, innocent people. I mean, children are going to be affected and so on. That's a really hard set of challenges that leaders have to face, and they have to face it relatively frequently. So for about 10 years or so, I was doing research on the topic of downsizing. The questions were, how do organizations do it effectively? If you're going to have to retrench, consolidate, lay people off, well, how do you do that without creating enormous amount of pain and blood on the floor? And then another question is, what's the impact? When you do downsize, what happens? Well, there are several prescriptions that sort of emerged out of that work. Number one is, if it's possible at all, to provide a soft landing space for people. That's job one. I mean, you may not have a job here, but I want to help as much as I possibly can to help you find a way to flourish in another situation. So really effective downsizing organizations have been people who just don't throw them out saying, good luck, we can't afford you anymore, but rather we're going to invest a lot of resources, time, energy, training, extra training, and so on, in order for you to find some place where you can flourish. So that's a no-brainer. Somebody would say, on the other hand, well, yeah, but we got to get rid of people and we got to do it relatively fast. I mean, Marriott just lets go thousands of people because nobody's showing up in hotels. So the question is, okay, well, how do we do that? Well, not surprisingly, the prescriptions are not very complicated. Number one is share all the data as widely and as honestly as possible. What that means is, let us tell you how much money we're making and how much we just lost. Let us tell you what the budget is for our head count. Here's how much money we need to take in order to pay people what we're paying them now. Let us give you as much information as we can about the circumstances we face. We're also very happy to have you share information or share perspective about what you would do or what you advise us to do. I've seen organizations where people come to the senior executives and say, you know what, you really don't need my job. You really don't need my team. We're redundant, and so on. So if you're going to reduce headcount, reduce our area. The only motivation for doing that, however, is that somebody is caring for me. That is, I'm not just being thrown away. I'm not treated as a human liability. I'm treated as a human resource. You invest in resources. You take care of resources. You make certain that resources are not damaged. So as much as possible, helping people have some confidence that we care about you and we're going to invest a lot in you. So that's sort of another. A lot of the organizations I studied in downsizing spent a lot of time retraining, getting outplacement organizations involved with their employees and helping them simply find a place. It's the soft landing notion, you know. So I have actually 30 rules of thumb for effective downsizing. I'm not going to read those 30, but they're not surprising. They're the same principles we talk about when things are flourishing. Help people flourish, be honest, be virtuous, help people thrive as much as they can themselves, meaning that you provide meaning to them, provide a profound purpose. Don't leave them without any kind of resources or backstop. So sometimes that's not economic, but it certainly can be emotional, it can be psychological, it can be spiritual for people.